Can I just tell you, I've been dying to interview you.
Really?
You are, ever since you shared your diagnosis and your journey, I'm so inspired by you.
Oh, that means so much. Thank you.
This is just so great that we're doing this. We are at the Genesis house.
Yes.
You have a hit show. Your Friends and Neighbors is so good.
Oh, thank you so much.
My fiance is traveling this week, and because I'm interviewing you, I was like, I have to jump ahead and watch the rest without you. He's like, that's a really good excuse.
Oh,
I'm
I
like,
love that.
but what does it mean? This show is the most watched first season on Apple TV.
Yeah, we just found that out.
Come on.
I know. It's, all of us are just like blown away by that.
Yeah.
Like the newsroom was really great. That was a really fun time in my life. But this is it was also a different time. Like social media wasn't really a thing then, as big as it is now, and there wasn't really like a zeitgeist for people to hit. And there's so much dialogue and cross communication with like different platforms. So it's just a different world, and than it was for me on the newsroom, and so it's just really exciting for all of us because you never know when you film something, you never know how people. I mean, I've done stuff that I'm like, this is going to be great, and then it's like a tree falling in the woods.
Yeah.
So it's really, we're all just really excited and grateful.
You guys have a lot of intimate scenes. Is it true that John kind of talked you through that, gave you a pep talk, or what was that like approaching that?
So I hadn't worked for 5 years. Yeah, because we had COVID. Then in 2021, I was pregnant. 2022, I had really bad postpartum anxiety for almost the whole year. Then 2023, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. Then 2024, I'm filming. So the first few times I was doing the lines and doing the scene, the first few times I was doing the actual scene and walking, I kept like forgetting my lines and kind of talking kind of fast through them. And one thing I've always prided myself on is like coming to set and knowing all my lines and never forgetting them. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh crap. And I'm thinking to myself, like, do I even have this anymore? Have I completely lost
Worst
it?
feeling in the world.
The worst. And then he kind of clocked it on his own. He took me aside. He's like, hey, like, you got this. Like, I believe in you. That's why we want you. Like, you got it. And then after that, I was like, okay, like, because I was intimidated. I'm like acting opposite.
Really?
Yeah, because
but you're Olivia Munn.
No, he's like, that's different. Like it's a different level.
I know you said that you were kind of done with acting before reading this script, and your agent called you and was like, I know that you might not want to read this, but I think you should. Did the season finale and that twist have anything to do with your decision to get on board? Because I thought it was so good.
I just was like, I have to do this. I have to. But I had really made a decision. I had already called my agents and said, like, don't entertain any like projects for me. I just had gone through so much personally, and I just focused in on what I wanted to do and with my time and who I wanted to spend it with. And I wanted.
Was Bale already here by then?
No, she was. When did they offer that to me? She was on her way.
Okay,
I know
so
that.
you knew May was coming.
I knew May was coming, and because I had such a hard postpartum time with Malcolm, I was like, I need to like, be here for all of the moments, and I don't want to take time away from my family. And I read it, and I was just like, something sparked in me again, and I was like, this is what I want to do, and I was ready to drop all the fears and anxieties that I had about going back to work. And I was like, I've carried this for long enough, and I'm going to drop it, and I'm going to go back to work. And it's also an ensemble, so I knew that I would have time off. Like, it wasn't going to be like every single day shooting, and we shot for like 6 months. So it was just everything was perfect.
Well, I told you earlier, I'm deeply moved by your entire life, but particularly your message the last 2 years. You've been through a lot. And yet you have a lightness about you. I don't know how you do that. Where are you at right now in your healing journey?
I'm on medication now for the next 5 years. I think surgeries are behind me. Actually, the other day, I think I might have another surgery because of a complication with my double mastectomy. But yeah, I forgot about that. That was just the other day. It was like this crazy incident. But I'm on medication, and there was this medication I was on, and I still have to be on, but I've been taking like 3 different variations of it, trying to find the right thing. And it was like the first one was making me really exhausted. The second one made me really angry. And the third one made me really anxious. It was like the worst of the like 7 dwarfs. It was like, who are these people?
worst.
And then I've gone back and I've had to pick, one of 3 poisons. And so I've gone back to exhaustion. But because I know it, like sometimes just knowing what's coming, you can just change your frame of mind. So I'm very like focused on being like, oh, I'm tired, but that's okay. Like I woke up really tired today and I'm like, no, but I'm gonna be there for my kids and I'm gonna be tired. And that's just how it is. And I just changed my mindset, and I've been hard on myself for any, like even the smallest infraction in my head. I'd be like, oh, and I just kind of like would carry that. And that's why, like, oh my gosh, it was like when I got into the Daily Show and it was like a bigger platform for me. It was like,
That was a big deal.
It was such a big deal. I couldn't believe it. And that was like at this point 15 years ago. And at that point I was like, I'm going to do better with my platform. I'm going to do better with my time. I'm going to do better with what I say. And so for like the last 15 years, like it's been important. That's why, when things came along, like the Me Too movement, I wanted to be, at the forefront and supporting other women and saying Me Too. And when there was the Stop Asian Hate movement, I wanted to get it in front and get it onto the news and mainstream media and talk about what's happening to our Asian community during COVID and wanting to make a change. So, but that doesn't mean that for the last, however many years in my life, I've been like holding like a regret for any little thing, like I said. And then after going through cancer and postpartum, I was like, I dropped the baggage. I dropped this emotional baggage because I was like, I've got to go climb Everest right now. Like I got to get to the top. And it's like immediately you don't think about anything. Survival becomes your job. And I unknowingly dropped all this emotional baggage and was like, I can't even think. My mind had no place for those thoughts.
Survival mode.
And then when I got to a good landing spot, I kind of assessed things and I'm like, wait, I haven't had these like negative thoughts. I haven't had these unforgiving feelings for a long time now. And you know what? Why would I pick them up now? And so I've been really conscious of just continuing to have that frame of mind. So I feel different. I feel lighter. I feel happier.
I imagine John also is a huge part of that because having a supportive partner is kind of everything, especially when these obstacles come. They don't say in sickness or in health for nothing.
Yeah, John, John and I had to learn a lot about each other really fast. And you really don't know someone's true character until you've been put to the test. And it got us so much closer and it bonded us. And we learned a lot about each other. I learned that he's an amazing caregiver. And I saw that with our son already, but it's almost natural when it's your offspring. And now he's got to deal with a partner who's really sick and can't help with the children. And he just is, he just made it so easy. And we just have a really great time together, and we really, we really understand each other. Like he's the first person I tell about anything, and vice versa. And like right now, he's shooting his first movie, and I'm like, for every actor, his first movie is what every actor hopes to get in their career, let alone the first one. He's doing a David O. Russell movie. Amazing. He's doing Madden with Christian Bale. And I know Christian
Bale is the best.
Yeah, Nicolas Cage plays Madden, and Catherine Hahn and Sienna Miller. So he's like he's shooting this David O. Russell movie. Yeah. And he and I are talking about it, and he's like kind of nervous about his first day, and but of course he knocks it out of the park. He's just a natural actor. I mean, it's literally day 3 for him, but he's He's
Killing
doing.
it.
I know he is.
That's
I know he is by
amazing.
how like excited he is to tell me about his day.
Will his Father's Day be anything like your Mother's Day?
That, and there he is.
Happy Mother's Day.
Do you want to be in a picture, Malcolm?
Okay, I'll just go here.
Okay.
The school
school-
questionnaire
the
about who
school-
my mom is. Yeah.
The school questionnaire. I did not know you were 24 years old. This is really good to know.
Well, how old did you think I was?
23.
I know. I get
Yes.
that. Yeah. Mhm, yeah.
So Malcolm
No,
was
it
just...
was. I know he's just 1 year off.
Yes.
No, he. No, you know what? School is out in June, so I guess a lot of dads don't really get that. So I'm gonna find one online and print it out and have
Yes.
Malcolm.
Guess his age.
Yeah, and fill out like what he thinks he does for a job, and I'm like so excited about that.
When you reflect on your journey, and then you're holding this child that kind of represents getting through it, what was that like for you?
Yeah, it's like, you know, I was able to experience what it must feel like to be a father going through a pregnancy. Because, you know, there's a lot of times where they're like, is it real? Is it not real? What's happening? Because you're watching someone else go through it. And so I'm like, oh, this is what it feels like. So there's something that just doesn't feel like it's really happening or that they're really there. And I'm so close with our surrogate, so sending me like, you know, heartbeat sounds from the monitor I sent her and like pictures, and you know, her dog would always lie next to her, you know, which her dog was always attached to her husband, and now it's like with her because the baby's there. So there's all these things I was like feeling so connected to her, but there you still feel like, you know, it's not happening to you physically. And then when she was born, she came out, her water broke, and an hour later, May was in the world. Like, she is ready for this world. This girl is ready for the world. And it was like this explosion of emotions, and we became really close with our surrogate and her husband and their family and their kids. But it was her and her husband were there, and then there was John, there was me, and I watched her come out, and John's like up by the head of her. John is up by her head, and John is up by our surrogate's head. So John is up by our surrogate's head. I'm down watching the baby come out.
When you said that, I was thinking
Yeah,
the
yeah,
other
yeah,
head.
yeah. I have
was
to be like, wait, hold on.
Yes,
Yeah.
okay, got it. John's by
John
the
was-
surrogate's head. You're kind of on the other side.
John was being very considerate.
Yes, got
and being
it.
at the top of the bed with our surrogate's husband, and I was getting to watch my baby come into the world. And as soon as she comes out and you hear her cry, the first thing that John does is grab the husband and kiss him on the cheek. He doesn't go to me first, and it's just because there's so much love. And our surrogate's husband is crying, John's crying, she's crying. My first thing is, after I see my baby and they take her to the warming station to check her out, I don't go with May. I go straight to our surrogate just to make sure she's okay, because as a mother who's gone through it, it's giving birth. And and then John goes over to see May, and it was just this explosion of love and gratitude, and like we get to go to the room next door, and we do skin to skin right away, and she's like crying a bit and won't really stop crying. And Malcolm was like really quiet when he came out. He like had his little cries, but he was like just chill. And there's this fear coming over me, like, oh my gosh, is it because like she doesn't know my smell or us, and like she feels like, in the world without the one person she's known.
I think that's probably a very normal fear too.
When you're going through surrogacy, for
Yeah.
sure. So that was the because people say like, when you talk about bonding with your child, they'll be like, but then they'll know your smell,
Yeah.
they'll hear your voice, and I'm like, but she didn't hear my
Yeah.
voice. She doesn't know my smell, and I was the only one that could make her stop crying. Because as soon as she got into my arms, she just quieted
knew.
down. Yeah, and it's everything I needed to have the confirmation that we're gonna be okay. And to this day, like, she's 8 months old, and whenever I come into the room, she's like looking for me. And if I'm talking to somebody else, she's like, because she wants to be part of the conversation. And as soon as I turn around and look at her, she just goes, like makes a smile.
So
She's very
sweet.
much like very social, wants to be in the world, like
Yeah.
very excited to be part of the conversation. And but yeah, it was just,
It's beautiful.
yeah, thinking about where we were at before, and being determined that we were going to have a little girl, you know.
I was very inspired by that.
Yeah.
About you feeling, you know, brave enough to share that, to share, because I'm afraid to speak those things out, because what if it doesn't happen, right?
Right. Yes. Well, I did speak out when I didn't talk about it till she was like, I think it was literally like a week after she was born. And that's also why I didn't talk about having cancer for a while until I knew I was like in a safe space, I didn't talk about it until I knew I was in a safe place, because what I couldn't deal with was any kind of outside conversation about like, is she gonna make it? Is she gonna, you know, it's gonna get worse, or I just didn't want, and I didn't need anybody's opinions about it. I didn't need anyone's fears about it. So I kind of, you know, keep things to myself until
Until it's time. I didn't know that you might need another surgery, which you mentioned.
Right, yeah.
Which is a downer.
Yeah, but I don't look at anything like that as a downer. Like I never did, because there are so many women in my position who weren't given the opportunity to fight. Like their cancer was found at a different stage. It was more aggressive. And they're told the worst thing that you can imagine being told. But I was told that there was a path forward. And anything that I have to do to continue fighting, I'm more than happy to do. I'm proud of my body for getting me through this. I'm thankful for every doctor who has helped me through. And I don't look at any of it as a downer. I'm just so grateful I was given the opportunity to fight.
That's amazing. And I think your message, you've literally saved lives. I took the test
You
from
did?
your Instagram bio.
And your score is?
It was 17,
Oh,
I
okay.
think. It was around 16 or
Yeah.
17. I can't
Okay,
exactly, but I
that's-
remember being relieved.
Yeah.
So it was 16 or 17, 2 years since you found out. To know that you have saved people's lives in those 2 years. You've literally saved people's lives.
Yeah, like, it is something that makes me emotional when I think about it. I don't know if I believe in everything happening for a reason. Because I think that some things are really horrible, and I don't understand the reason. And I think that people a lot of times will make the best of things, and so then people will say like, well, look where you're at now, and like, everything happens for a reason. But I think some things are just really brutal and unfair, and there are things that happen to me that I wish didn't happen to me. And I don't think that there was a reason for them. I just think that they happened. But I think maybe I had to have cancer to get to the place where I could reach to so many people and tell them about this test that is like free online. Like you took it, it's so simple.
It's so easy.
And it saved my life. And meeting people like Allison, who found out she had cancer, she's so young, and to find out that she had cancer because of this test, it's like, and I've met people stop me all the time. I get stopped. Just last night I was walking, you know, outside of my house here in New York, and then this woman just stops me, and she has this whole like breast cancer, you know, she found out she had breast cancer because she took the test, and then she created this whole like support group for her and other women, and like you know, John was the one who sat down with me, and we figured out together, like, can I take the energy that will come my way if I talk about this? And
It's a lot. It's a big responsibility to carry.
And it becomes my identity.
Yeah.
And he asked me that. He said, you know, is this something that you want to be part of your identity out in the world, and something that you're going to be talking about for the rest of your life? And when he said that, I actually was like, yes, because if there's another woman out there who has cancer like I did but didn't know it, and thought that they had done everything right, which, you know, I thought as well, like if this saves them, then I'm so happy to take on this role.